Did you notice me when I stuck up for you? How about when I gave you my last Oreo? What about when I lent you my jumper because you looked cold? Did you notice me looking at you? When our eyes met for what felt like a minute, did you notice that sometimes I think I'm getting crazy? That I'm feeding this maddening sickness I have because it's more real than anything else I've had. Sometimes I'm scared that you do notice me and the madness is no longer madness. But I don't know what else you would call it. And I don't know what I'll do because I've been used to feeling like this for so long. I don't think I know what to do next. Maybe that's why I've never asked you these questions. I'm asking you now because I'm dying. A slow death. And I want to know what my life meant. I'm not looking for you to tell me you love me. It would be nice, but that's not what this is. This is me trying to discover if my life was a joke or was it a tragedy. There's no time for anything between those bookends. I'm dying, and there's no time for me to learn a new way of being. So I'm asking you to define what I am. Was I swinging and missing, people laughing at me? Or did I forget to actually swing and there goes somebody who could have been something? Who could have been a contender? Will you tell me? Will you feel brave enough to tell me what I may not want to hear? Will you listen to what I have to say? Know who I am? Recognize what the hell I'm talking about? Maybe not. I guess we'll never know. I should have asked you these questions when I had the chance.
I want to make a complaint. Dave's story, prison number 7406. The one with no hands. Hooks for hands. He keeps making ethnic slurs, homophobic remarks, off-colour. I know I'm white and straight, but it makes me uncomfortable. I'm allowed to be uncomfortable in my own skin, and he makes me uncomfortable. Every time I have to listen to him, look at him. I know he's got no hands, but he can't just say what he says. Irrespective of whether he's a lifer, he'll be out in 10 years, and by that point, it will be even worse to say all those things. It will probably get him thrown back inside. Of course, I didn't say anything. He's got hooks for hands. Big hooks. The type for hanging stuff, and he's a lifer. Do you think he'd think twice? I'm scared where he'd start with me, you know? Maybe someone could talk to him. I know it's my job, but someone he actually listens to? Someone who can actually put a bit of pressure on him. You're the warden, you know? Formal complaint? He'll know it was me. Can't you just handle this informally? Threaten to take his hooks? Or, I don't know, there must be an ethnic homosexual in prison who can rough him up a bit, make him think twice before he says those things. No, I don't know. I'm not advocating violence. He's my patient. Sort of. I was just thinking out loud. Of course I don't want to hurt the guy. I'm not a violent person. I just want him to change, and I can't make him change. But if he thinks you're a prick, he won't attack me. And maybe he can change. Why not? But I can't go in that room with him. I can't go in that room with him anymore. Even if you take the hooks off of him. He's a freak.
Do you remember when we first made love? When we looked into each other's eyes? The way it felt? Like the world stopped. No. We were in a vacuum. There was no world. It was just you and me. Do you remember that? I do. It makes me sad because we don't have that anymore. I know that's supposed to be normal, but why? Why should I accept that as normal when I know that feeling's out there. I haven't done anything. I haven't been intimate with anyone else, but I know if... Jamie told me he loves me. Last night, we were alone outside. I didn't plan on it. It was dark. I just left the party to get some air. I just went for a walk. I just wanted to be alone, and he came out of nowhere. And it was just us. And that feeling we once had. I felt something. I felt that impossible feeling that I thought was gone for good. I don't know if I love him, but I can't be in something just for love. I need that feeling again because I want to feel alive. I hate what this does to us, but I think we both deserve better. It's okay if you hate me. I love you.
You always said I'd be all right in the end. Can I ask, at what point did you realise what you were saying was a lie? People always know something before you do. Sam Moon, in my class, said he'd play for Liverpool, but he was terrible. Didn't play a team, but he kept saying it. Until when he was about 15, he stopped. But we knew since he was 9. So we thought he was an idiot. Do you think I'm an idiot? Must have been years ago when you realised I was never going to pass any exams. You must have known when I was on the fast track to nowhere. But I kept resitting. Kept being the eldest person in college. And kept believing what you told me. That it would be alright. In the end. Were you lying to me? You must have. You must have known I'm going nowhere. So why'd you keep saying it? You tricked me. You knew I was no good. But, well, what? Why? Why would you want me to believe I could be better when I know I can't? It's cruel. Keeping the truth from me is cruel. You're a cruel person and Mum shouldn't be cruel. They should be honest. They're the only people who can be honest. Who'd be listened to. Who can trust and depend on. But I didn't get that. Big fat nothing. Just lies. And now I'm stuck here with you. Everyone's gone. Is that why? Were you laughing at me? We laughed at Sam. Sam stopped coming to school. Sam disappeared. I wonder if Sam was killed by his mum too.
I have a massive tell when I'm in love with someone. I can't speak. I stutter. I climb up. Shut. And then, I don't know why, I lose my cool. And suddenly I can't think of anything nice to say. So I stop being me and just parrot. Often going sarcastic, just repeating what they said or criticising it. Both are terrible. They make me out as unfunny, shallow and extremely pedantic. When usually I'm none of those things. I'm a free spirit. I'm funny. Or at least I have my moments that allow me to stand out, and I know that under the right conditions, if I was cool, I wouldn't have such an estranged relationship with love. I can tell you about this. Because I don't love you. You were just some girl I met on a night out, and I was drunk, which only ever helps my cause, but not so drunk to not mistake what we did last night and this morning as anything other than a mutual servicing. And forgive me if I'm wrong, considering we're both quite good at it. I feel there's no need to be awkward about it. We can be honest with one another, and then when we see each other again in like a year and you're with someone and I'm on my own, you'll hopefully remember this conversation. Not see me as some lone wolf shagger, but just someone who can't be honest with the person he loves, honest with himself, and you might even feel sorry for me. Which is better than thinking I'm some randy dog only interested in nights like last night. I'm more than that. And I know it's really weird I'm sharing this with you, but you can probably guess I don't feel like I can share it with the person I want to share it with. I'll see you around.
There was this tradition your family had. You told me about it when you were sober. You said the whole family would dance come the harvest. I thought your family was backward. I thought the harvest was some kind of made-up Bible story, but no, you said every year your family would dance the jigs, and that everyone would be there. And that's where you met Seamus, your eldest cousin. Hot stuff. He wore a leather jacket and a watch, and he wasn't hanging around like some farmhand. He was moving to the city. That's what he told you when there was a break between dances. Cool Seamus. Handsome Seamus. Your mother liked him. Liked him for humouring you, making you feel special, giving you some harmless experience before you were old enough for the big girl dances and those boys from St. Augustine's. Good Seamus. A womanizer, but women, so what? He's treating his young cousin like some kind of southern belle. Did you feel special? How about when you followed him outside when he went for a cigarette? Gave you a drag of his cigarette. Don't tell no one our little secret, pet. Must have been the night of your life. How about when he gave you the dregs of his can? Was that your first taste of the creature? I guess he made it easy for you. Easy to say yes. To a kid, it must have been like being royalty. But it's just what it is. And that's why you drink. So now I know your truth. Will you let me help you?
When I heard those words, it was like hearing the passing of a train. It hit me and went through me like I was air, and the seconds lived full lives. I felt like they'd never end, but the words had an end. I could see the carriages of the train pass by, singing the penultimate syllable run with the last, and they happened. But they were gone, and now I remember them, and I wish they didn't have to go. Because it's a sound that floored me like I was inches from this train, like all the oxygen had been consumed, and all other noises and thoughts had been eaten by this force, and the words clinging on to every part of me, but then gone. And now, just a memory of that passing train, a memory of that surrendering feeling, a feeling like I'd been evaporated in sounds put together that give me a place in time that I can call mine. I can say happened, where I'd been reduced to nothing but felt everything. The train's in the distance, the deafening now a whisper. But I can still hear that sound, and I talk about it now in case I one day forget it, in case new sounds come that threaten the one that suspended me in a feeling I don't want to lose. The train's a whisper. I listen hard. I ask the world to be silent. I rue myself for not standing in front of the train.
I go for a walk. It's the first day of summer. Well, it's not. It's late August, but it's my first time out of the house. Work's been full on and it's nice to get away from everything. I go for a walk on my own. I like being alone. I'm good at it. I'm a harsh self-critic, but I always imagine other people's thoughts and they're crippling, and this time is for me. It's the first day of summer. Maybe the last too, but I don't muse on that. Even on my way home, I'll just think about it being the first day. When I get home, that's another story. And I walk to an empty field. I see a wheat field, it looks untrodden. I wear my socks high because I'm scared of getting tick bites, and as I walk through the wheat, my eyes dart around for mice. I'm not scared of mice, but I'm uninitiated, and like I said, this time is for me. I walk for about 100 metres, but walk a little further to not be metric. I'm out of the office after all. My fear of ticks evaporates as I jump head first into the wheats. It's my repressed self lurching out of its cage for this little while that I'm here. I look up at the sky, mostly blue. At an angle, I see two clouds. They look close together, but they're probably miles apart, and yet, from my angle, it looks like they're touching. I look up, and a thought comes into my mind. We enter this world alone. We die alone, and all of a sudden I feel like I'm the only person in the universe. And the sensation to let the world swallow me up, let the roots wrap around my throat and pull me into the abyss, feels more like a communion than anything else. But a thought snaps into clarity, and I recognize that bookends of life, birth and death. And often we think of bookends as the large, unmovable books, yet suddenly I make them thin. And the distance between them grows as I begin to fill the space in between with a vast array of books, dense, thick, one book after another. And now the bookends are wafer thin, miles apart, and I see birth and death's significance narrow to the point of irrelevance, as the books in the middle hold all the meaning, all the attention. And suddenly I feel the urge to leap up and spring from this wheat field, jump so high the millions of universes collide, and I no longer long for this quiet. I long to fill the bookshelf and live between life and death. And suddenly another thought aids the last. We enter this world screaming, as if our soul didn't want to leave the other side. And we leave this world with a long sigh, as if relief for going home. And now I see both the beauty of this world and the next. I walk home.